As far as favorite pieces from my collection, one of my favorite Star Wars pieces of all time is the AT-AT Walker. That's something I remember heavily as a kid. I remember opening that on Christmas with my dad. I've even got a picture of it, you know, when I was a kid opening the AT-AT Walker. But it's always been one of those like iconic toys. I always felt it was like over the top. Even now, I mean, they still just reproduce the same item over and over. Anything Boba Fett, that's a huge thing that I've loved. But just overall, I don't really have a favorite as far as singular. I love the majority of all of them, you know. I mean, when it comes to like, let's say Prune Face or Maydeen or things like that, maybe not as much. And that might offend a couple guys that collect just that, but I'm just saying, I love pretty much all of them as a whole. One story that was really huge in my collecting time was I grew up in the same house that my mom still lives in. And at the time, my son was 10 years old, and we dropped him off and my daughter off for date night, my wife and I did. And we decided to go ahead and go to dinner. And so in the middle of dinner, I get a text message from my son. And then in the text message, he's just holding in his hand a Lion-O from the Thundercats line. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have any childhood toys of my own because they all got given to Goodwill. So when he's holding that, I was thought, man, finally, there's something. I mean, I looked through my parents' house, the attic, everywhere, couldn't find anything. I found a card back, actually. That was the only thing I ever found. As soon as he sent me that picture, I was like, wow, he's 10 years old. I was probably 10 when when my mom had bought that piece for me. And then he found it when he was 10. So that's just a really, you know, that'll be a piece that I keep with me for life. So many people think, you know, they always think, oh, it's gotta be, you know, some rare Star Wars, it's gotta be something crazy, but it's the story behind that. And that's, you know, that's so much more meaningful to me than any of them.